This guy does these audio audits.
New series showed up. Audio Audit by KDH TV.
Audio Audit from a channel called KDH.
Stevie T is one of the biggest guitar personalities on YouTube. He's been uploading to the platform for over 12 years, making him a veteran of the guitar side of the site. He's a comedian, an entertainer, and an incredibly talented guitar player and musician. He's also a massive bully who manipulates en masse his entire audience and takes advantage of some of the most vulnerable people in society, including children and those with mental illness. Today I'll be taking a look at all this, as well as explaining why a multitude of his videos are flat out illegal to broadcast in the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, and the entire European Union. It all starts with the audience. Now, we don't have access to Stevie's analytics to tell for certain who's watching, but it doesn't take a genius to recognize that Stevie's content is catered towards a younger viewer. He even prides himself in it.
I pride myself on creating content that is family friendly for the most part.
Now, it's for the most part, so you might expect a naughty word or two to slip by, but overall, you're going to expect that it's going to be safe for kids to watch. If you search Stevie's name on YouTube and look for the videos that are not uploaded by him, almost all of them are done by kids. Here are just a few examples that I found.
Guys, subscribe to Steve Terrorberry.
Under the rules set out by the FTC, which every YouTuber has to abide by, YouTubers have to disclose if their content is directed at kids. Factors used to determine this include the subject matter, like toys, visual content, like green screening yourself into the Wiggles, the use of animated characters or child-orientated activities and incentives, kind of like having Barney in your thumbnails, the kind of music or other audio content, the age of models.
Don't worry, baby, I know what'll cheer you up.
That's a baby. The presence of child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children.
Peach and Jojo, peanut head Jojo, banana Jojo, pickle sandwich Jojo, reproductive system Jojo.
Whether advertising that promotes or appears on the site is directed at children.
I found a game that really takes me back to when I was a young shredder. It's called Bombastic Brothers. Kind of like the games I grew up playing. For example, here's me as a young shredder playing Duke Nukem 1. You play as Jeff, and you and your bombastic friends are fighting off an alien race to get back Jeff's pet corgi.
Yeah, this is an ad for kids. Kids that Stevie believes would be around this age. Videos featuring Barney, Elmo and the Wiggles, as well as Stevie's signature comedy style being very similar to a children's TV presenter, all make it something a kid would be happy to watch.
We'll need some things from the doodle drawers!
Test.
This type of content is perfect for kids, and that's actually pretty cool, because it introduces them to a variety of music and technical guitar playing that they otherwise wouldn't be introduced to. Steve has an influence over the kids that watch him, and he acknowledges that.
And then kids tell me that I inspired them to pick up guitar.
But playing guitar is not the only thing Steve inspires kids to do. This is where it gets weird. In this video, he reacts to a band's performance and litters the entire video with innuendos about how big the singer's chest is.
Oh, wow, those are big, those are really big. Okay, she's gonna fall right over. Wonder what size those are. They're big, okay. What size do you think those are? Her tits are f***ing huge.
Yeah, that type of wholesome, family-friendly content. The singer's
name's Sabrina Sabrok. Sabrina Sabrok. Sabrina Sabrok. Sabrina Sabrok. Sabrina Sabrok. Does anybody know Sabrina Sabrok?
And she's an adult actress, a porn star. Yeah, if you search her name on YouTube, a name that Stevie has given us,
Sabrina Sabrock.
the top video is a dance of sorts. I can't show any of it in this video, but it's a dance. In the comments of that video, hundreds of accounts all saying that they're there because of Stevie T. And their kids. Take this one. Someone who is only on that video because of Stevie T. This is what that person looks like. That kid is no more than 8 years old, and he's on a side of YouTube that he should not be on, all because of Stevie. But he was one of the lucky ones. Guess what happens when you Google her and Stevie's name? Yep. When you acknowledge that you have an influence over kids, your content should at least adhere to the baseline standard of what's deemed acceptable. And then maybe parents won't have to bring their prepubescent children to counselling. Stevie has a lot of influence, and he makes sure to monetize that. Now, there's nothing wrong with video sponsors or advertising, as long as they stick within the advertising standards law. This is incredibly important in Stevie's case, as children under the age of 8 are mentally incapable of interpreting advertisements with a critical eye, and have difficulty distinguishing between fantasy and reality. Simple things like disclosures are very important, and legally required in most of the world. Sometimes he does it,
I got a sick mobile game for you guys, and they are the sponsors for today's video.
and sometimes he doesn't.
I suck at theory. But luckily, I found an app called Guitario that teaches you the notes.
Yeah, whenever I just find something, it has affiliate links attached. And sometimes entire videos are adverts disguised as entertainment, with no disclosures. Here are a couple of those type of videos. They promote products by a company called Nux.
The Nux, because the Nux, so the Nux, so the Nux, so the Nux. And another cool thing about the Nux, brand new Nux, now the Nuxy McNuxersons, the Nuxages, to the Nux, the Nux, with the Nux, shoulda Nuxed. The Nux is
Heavily employing the use of repetition there, with no disclosure that they're ads. That's illegal in most of the world. In this case, Stevie isn't the only one who's guilty. Music Is Win made a similar ad for the same product with no disclosures, and these ads work. Here's a picture of the amp that they both advertised, that both of them are tagged in on Instagram by a kid. Both Stevie and Tyler are at least partially responsible for that kid buying that amp. The caption is even a quote from Stevie.
shoulda Nuxed.
Now fellas, I don't know what to tell you. Either you're intentionally breaking the law at the expense of your viewers, or you're totally ignorant of it. In either case, you probably shouldn't be on a panel of YouTubers, at a music college, answering questions on sponsors and advertising. Equally, when advertising things, not lying is very important. In this example, Steve is reading a script for a popular mobile game.
Red Shady Lemons.
Jared Dines and hundreds of other YouTubers read the same script.
Like, look how crazy the level of detail is in these champions.
Look at how crazy the level of detail is on these champions.
Here's something I am not supposed to show you. I'm gonna block out the name of the game since this kind of thing is confidential and they don't want YouTubers to show it, talk about it, or reference it.
But Stevie changes his slightly.
But I never expected to get this level of performance out of a mobile game.
But I honestly never expected to get this level of performance out of a mobile game.
Did you catch that? He just sold his honesty for a 4-figure sum. Actually, after some research about that particular game and Stevie's channel size, it's far more likely that it was a 5-figure sum. Now, I find it incredibly hard to believe that a script that was sent out to hundreds of YouTubers perfectly encapsulates Stevie's feelings about the game, so much so that it's what he honestly believes. But that would imply he's lying.
Honestly.
This video, Stevie T Gets Serious, with a very serious emoji in the thumbnail, is a video he gets constant praise for. I think it's one of the most disgusting videos he's ever done. Let me explain. In the videos, Stevie is asked a question about depression.
So it's questions like these that I would usually avoid.
Stevie says talking about mental health shouldn't be taboo.
Mental illness used to be such a taboo subject. These things shouldn't be taboo.
He tells an anecdote of when he was in school and how he didn't feel he was good enough at anything, which led to him feeling depressed.
You know, it kind of made me feel like I wasn't good enough at anything. So I think I developed a lot of self-doubt over that. And though I can't say I've been clinically depressed, I've had bouts of depression because of that.
This is highly ironic, and you'll understand why later. But now that you're emotionally invested, time for the sell.
Since we're on the topic of depression, there's something I want to show you guys, and I know this is gonna look like a shameless plug, but I promise you it's not.
He just pretensed an ad read by flat out lying to you, saying it's not an ad read.
I promise you it's not.
Highly illegal. Fraudulent, actually. The app that he's selling is
called BetterHelp for people with depression or any issues in general who feel like they need someone to talk to.
And he has an affiliate link for it.
Follow my link, betterhelp.com/Stevie T.
It came out later that BetterHelp were paying YouTubers $200 for everyone that signed up through their link.
It's been confirmed that YouTubers have been paid $200 per person that they get to sign up for BetterHelp. $200. That's a lot of money. Just get 1,000 people signing up, you just made $200,000.
And then it came out that the YouTubers were getting paid up to $200 per every depressed fan they could find to sign up to this app.
You cannot put a price on your own well-being.
No, but Stevie can. $200.
You're certainly not worthless to me.
No, you're worth $200. BetterHelp turned out to be a scam.
People were complaining that they signed up for a 7-day free trial and all of a sudden they were dinged $200 from their account. And then, in the terms of service of BetterHelp, it said that they weren't really responsible to verify if the counselors were real or not.
It was a massive story and labeled the biggest scam on YouTube, but for some reason it's still active. It would be commendable to do a video about mental health. A little bit less so to do it for an ad read. Illegal to lie about it not being an ad read.
And I know this is gonna look like a shameless plug, but I promise you it's not.
That video gets new comments every single day, and there's a lot of money to be made from it. If Stevie got even 0.5% of his subscribers to sign up to BetterHelp through his affiliate link at a $200 commission, he would make before tax almost $2 million. It's big business to take advantage of people with mental health issues. But at least he's consistent with his view on mental health and how it shouldn't be stigmatized, right? After all, he himself suffers from anxiety. Nope.
Today I'm feeling sad and depressed. Because today I'm gonna show you guys how to be Billie Eilish.
She is the originator of the music genre known as depreepy, which is a combination of depressing and creepy. Look me directly in my googly eyes and tell me you've never seen a picture of Billie Eilish not looking like this. Time to start thinking about our depreepy song. And the first step is to forget every amount of happiness you've ever had in life.
It took me one Google search. One, to find out she suffers from depression. This lyric,
I wanna end me,
requires no reading between the lines. It's about wanting to kill herself. Stevie?
Wow. Aren't we just a ray of sunshine?
Look, if you want to make content making fun of mental health issues, go ahead. It's not exactly classy of you, but then again you did clickbait recently deceased rappers with tags suggesting they were still alive. I doubt anyone's accusing you of being classy. Or, if you want to make content advocating for more awareness about mental health, that's great too. But Stevie, you're selling to both sides, and your opinion changes depending on who the highest bidder is. Nothing's off limits when it's for a highly viewed video.
What would you say was the initial trigger for your anxiety?
I can't tell you.
It's okay, you can tell me.
1877 Carl for kids. King.
But you care deeply about mental health when you get money for a sponsor or sympathy.
I started having what I can only describe as almost mental breakdowns, where my anxieties were just like going crazy, and I knew that I was gonna have some kind of mental breakdown.
Initially, Stevie was the first name on the list for an audio audit. However, other people made great videos saying what I was gonna say at the time. And more importantly, many comments suggested that he had apologized for what he was being criticized for. Case closed. Until Christmas Eve 2019. A happy holidays message to everyone from Stevie, the characters he plays, and Richard Benson. If you're a regular viewer of Stevie, that name probably sounds very familiar. He was the man that Stevie claimed to be the worst guitar shredder ever, to nearly 2 million people. Because of Stevie's video alone, that man's name has become a running joke.
His name is Richard Benson. Richard Benson.
Richard Benson, 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 Richard Benson. And of course he's influenced kids to do the same.
Richard Benson. Richard Benson. Richard Benson.
This part of the story has been covered very well by a channel called Press Play, but in short, Richard Benson was an Italian guitar player who had a reasonable ability on the instrument. Unfortunately, he developed crippling arthrosis, which has made it almost impossible for Richard to play. It would seem that Richard's mental state also deteriorated, and there was an alleged suicide attempt, which led to even worse injuries. It's a very sad story. Then Stevie uploaded this video.
Let's Richard Benson this place up, huh? Richard! It's not the guitar's fault, you suck! Stupid guitar, stop sounding like shit! Hey everybody, look at me! I can shred just like Richard Benson! Rick Benson sucks! Rick Benson sucks! That's a lot of suckage.
No matter what way you look at it, that's bullying. Benson is neither physically nor mentally well, and definitely not able to defend himself. I find it hard to believe that Stevie didn't know about any of Benson's conditions, considering that in this montage, he shows a number of pictures all taken from Google Images. He Googled him. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt. After he found out about Richard's conditions, he addressed it with what I've been hearing was an apology. I wanted to see this apology for myself, so I searched for it, and I couldn't find it. So I did what anyone would do and watched 94 minutes straight of Stevie T content. In this video, Stevie reacts to a top 10 most hated guitarists list, and we find that Richard Benson is number 1 on the list. This is Stevie's reaction and apology.
Sorry, it's my good old friend.
Richard Benson, 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 Richard.
Not surprised to see him on this list. He literally has created a career out of people hating him. I think he loves it. And apparently he's been on national TV in Italy just to like yell at people.
Ma voi mi state pigliando per il culo! No, Benson, scusa.
You know, they should feel lucky all he did was yell at them. He could have played guitar for them. But it has come to my attention recently that Richard has really bad arthritis, among other health issues, so I feel super bad for the guy. I hope him all the best in his recovery. The guitar world certainly wouldn't be the same without him. So thanks for that, Richard Benson.
Let's break that down.
And apparently he's been on national TV in Italy just to like yell at people.
Ma voi mi state pigliando per il culo! No,
That's an interesting part of the video you clipped. Why didn't you show him writhing on the ground in what could be only described as mental anguish? It's in the same video.
No!
Not as funny, I guess.
You know, they should feel lucky all he did was yell at them. He could have played guitar for them.
You know he's not well, and yet you make fun of him again. Right, okay, here's the apology section.
But it has come to my attention recently that Richard has really bad arthritis, among other health issues.
Yeah, just other health issues. It's interesting that a guy who thinks that mental health
shouldn't be taboo
will happily gloss over those issues when it doesn't suit.
So I feel super bad for the guy. I hope him all the best in his recovery.
If you actually felt bad, you'd actually apologize, and you'd remove the video, instead of just acknowledging he has issues and making fun of him again. This video was uploaded 15 months ago, and the original Benson video is still up. But it doesn't stop there. In my experience, there are 2 ways in which people deal with criticism. Either they're accepting of it and try and make a good thing out of it, or the actions that they take to negate the criticism often are worse than the actions they were being criticized for in the first place. I believe Stevie falls into the latter with this video. There's a lot to unpack here. Let's start with the title. This guy hated on me, so this is what I did. What did you do, Steve? You got revenge on your YouTube haters. Maybe now the haters will think twice before leaving a negative comment on your channel. Revenge, by definition, is the action of hurting or harming someone in return for an injury or wrong suffered at their hands. So you're trying to hurt or harm these people. Interesting. How did the guy whose full channel name and face you put in your thumbnail wrong or injure you? You also edit out the most important part of his comment for your thumbnail. Sure, he could have said it nicer, but then again, other people have said it nicer and it hasn't got any reaction from you.
Oh, my Richard Benson video. I'll get a lot of hate on that one, that's for sure. Yeah, you're making fun of a sick man, you little arrogant bastard. Yeah, Jaco Pasto. And by the way, I didn't know Richard Benson was sick when I did that video. Oh, but of course you would never consider that as a possibility.
I did. I don't believe it, but even when giving you the benefit of the doubt, you've known he's had issues for 15 months, and you've left that video up. You even made fun of him a second time when admitting you knew he had issues.
You know, they should feel lucky all he did was yell at them. He could have played guitar for them. Let's just take a look at your, oh, look, he's a bass player! The White Stripes could play this. I'm done. I'm out. He needs a shredemption.
He then proceeds to solo over a bass player to prove something.
You know what, though? I do have to admit, he does kind of have a point. You know, I went back and rewatched my Richard Benson video, and I totally came off as a dick, which I really do regret, and I will delete the video if you guys want me to. And again, apologies to Richard Benson as well.
What do you mean again? There wasn't a first apology. And you'll delete this video if your fans want you to? All of these videos are criticizing you for your Benson video. Even your top comments are defending Benson. What's the right number, Steve? Either you think it's wrong and you delete it, or you don't think it's wrong and you don't delete it. The only reason that I can think of why you would mention you might delete a video is to generate more traffic towards that video. And that worked too. You have to admire this level of cockiness. He actually went to the extent of putting sad piano music underneath his statement to elicit an emotional response. Listen closely.
Which I really do regret, and I will delete the video if you guys want me to. And again, apologies to Richard Benson as well.
But I'll delete it if you guys want me to.
I know this is gonna sound weird, but whenever Stevie gets sad, I have the urge to give him a hug.
An absolute master of manipulation. Now it all comes down to this though. Which part was your revenge? You know, the part that's designed to hurt or harm these people. Was it the shreddemptions?
By giving you a shred redemption because you suck?
Because if that's the case, that means all your other shreddemptions on people like Richard Benson, Emmanuel Aguilar, or even just a couple of teenagers.
That intro solo gave me urinary incontinence. That's right, yeah.
Were unprovoked attacks. Or was the revenge bit publishing their full channel names in front of your fan base so that they could go and harass these people?
I can't believe people hate him. I want to stab his haters through the heart.
People get very emotional when their favorite YouTuber is criticized. I know a little something about that. And your audience did harass this man. Because of you. He finishes off the video with this.
Be careful who you make fun of, because it could come back to bite you right in the ass!
That could be classed as a threat. Or a comical piece on how he's completely ignorant of what he's made his career from. But when it comes to Stevie's revenge, whether it was the shreddemptions or the weaponization of his fan base, whichever one you pick, he's a bully. Now I'm keenly aware that I'll be called a bully for pointing out the things that Stevie's done. I know this because everyone else who's done so has already been called one. So let's get this one out of the way. A bully, by definition, is a person who habitually seeks to harm or intimidate those whom they perceive to be vulnerable. And let's not fool ourselves. This video, from this small channel, will not harm or intimidate Stevie. It's comparable to his videos on Metallica, Lil Wayne or Slash. He's punching up, and that's okay. I'm doing it right now. But when he punches down, and very importantly, I don't perceive Stevie to be vulnerable. In fact, I view him as a wolf in sheep's clothing. He manipulates his audience, doesn't disclose ads, even lies and claims they're not ads at all, and bullies people who are smaller than him. His anxiety is not an excuse for any of this. If anything, it makes a lot of what he's doing even worse. It's ironic that he felt depressed at school because other people were better than him at things, only for him to grow up to be the biggest guitar gatekeeper on YouTube. But at least he's self-aware.
Someone who leaves such negative comments on a video to this audio diarrhea, or someone who is a bully, Rick Benson sucks, Rick Benson sucks! Most of the time, if not all the time, they're acting this way just to cover up their own insecurities. See, the reason I act like that is because it makes me a lot of...
I reached out to Stevie multiple different times on multiple different platforms for comment on the issues that I've raised. He never responded. Some of you may have seen a trailer that I made for this video, and some of you may have also noticed that I wasn't in it. Now that was very important because it was to gauge the opinion without me saying a word. And there were some very interesting results. Many people were warning me to be careful of Stevie and his fans, and I think that says a lot considering I hadn't said anything at this point. I also had some Stevie fans who, before I had even made an argument, were adamant that it was the wrong one, and nothing I could say or do would change their mind because Stevie is awesome. There's a few things to note before we end the video. Number 1, your opinion is encouraged, but harassment of anyone in this video is not. Please do not do that. Secondly, for those that agree with me, there will likely be many who do not. It's also likely that a lot of them will be young kids. Please keep that in mind if you engage in any debates in the comments with them. And thirdly, even if it was just for an ad read, I do agree that mental health shouldn't be a taboo subject and it should be talked about. I've compiled a list of different mental health service numbers from around the world, and I'm going to include that at the end of the video. If you feel the need to talk to someone, maybe give one of those numbers a try. There seems to be this idea that Steve can dish out as much as he likes to anybody he wants, and no one can say anything. The second someone does, they're called a bully, or they're jealous, and 90% of the time, the biggest defense cited is that he's a great player. And he is. But he can't play his way out of this one. As far as I'm concerned, Stevie T is a professional bully.